What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Pens and Tea. My name is Carrie, and today we're going to be talking about a luscious watermelon iced tea and the TWSBI Vac 700. The luscious watermelon tea is the taste of summer. So this is a herbal fruit infusion blend that is supposed to taste obviously like watermelon from David's Tea. Of course, what else is new? This to me tastes more appley to me than watermelon. Just, had to confirm there. Yeah, it definitely tastes more apple to me than watermelon. Watermelon is actually kind of like the back flavor that I get. But it's still good and it's still sweet, but it does have a bit of a tang. I brew mine way longer than it says to. It says to put in, like, when you're making the iced version, actually I'll read the exact thing, 2 perfect spoons, aka 2 teaspoons, in near boiling water for 4 to 7 minutes and then fill with ice. I don't do that. I don't like to actually ice my iced teas because I don't like it when the taste gets watered down, and typically that's what happens a lot of the time with iced teas. So what I do is I brew it in like a pitcher, and then I just leave it in the fridge overnight to get cold. And I leave the leaves in there all the time. I don't take them out. So I like a really strong flavor. But there's no candied pieces, there's no nothing, so it's caffeine free, calorie free, all that kind of good stuff. You can drink as much as you want till your heart's desire. It is $7.98 per 50 grams of this stuff. I have about 80 grams in here. Loose leaf tea never really looks all that appetizing at first. It smells kind of like the like child's lip balm, like the really fake watermelon scented lip balm. That's kind of what it smells like. Thankfully it doesn't taste at all like that. Compared to the peach one that I did a while back, I prefer the peach one every time to this. This one's good, but I don't know if I would buy it again. But if you want kind of like an apple flavor with watermelon kind of undertones, then that may be a good one for you to check out. But what about the TWSBI Vac 700? So the Vac for the TWSBI Vac 700 essentially is vacuum fill. So basically what you do is there's a little rod on the inside that you're going to pull all the way out, stick your nib in the bottle of ink, and then you're going to press that rod all the way back down, and it creates, my voice, negative air pressure. So when it gets released, it sucks up all that ink, and then your barrel is full. So you definitely get a ton of ink in here. I have never actually used an entire barrel's worth of ink in the TWSBI Vac 700. For those people that, write a lot every day, all day, then this could be something cool to kind of take a look at, because you get, I think, about 2 milliliters of ink in this barrel, which is pretty dang good, considering the average converter gets anywhere between half a milliliter to 1 milliliter. So this would definitely be a good investment for you if you are looking for high capacity. Another thing I like about this pen, and TWSBI's pens in general, is that they are fully disassemblable. Disassemblable? Sounds like I'm talking about the Avengers. Anyways, so you can remove the nib housing, you can remove the nib unit, you can unscrew the piston rod. You can pretty much get into every nook and cranny of this pen. And when you get it, TWSBI sends you a wrench along with it to help disassemble that. So that's pretty dang cool. So I like that because then I know I can put stubborn inks in here. I can put the shimmery, shiny, goldy fleck inks in here, and I'll be able to get it all clean, no problem. You can also get replacement nibs and with the housing. So currently I have a broad here. But I also have a fine, and you can get like a stub, like 1.1 kind of thing, get medium, extra fine, all that good stuff. So that's kind of neat because then you can have like one pen, like one body, but have loads of options as far as like what you want to use to actually write with. So that I like very much. And it's well balanced too. So when I hold it in my hand, it fits very comfortably. It's very light, even though it's like a honker of a pen as far as like grip goes. It's definitely solidly built for sure. It fits nicely in my hand. You can post it. It has a rubber ring at the end to post it, but it becomes extraordinarily back heavy for me, like uncomfortably so. So unless you had like really, really, really large hands, I don't see the average user posting this pen. The downsides to this pen is going to be along the same lines of almost every TWSBI I've used. And that is they are all dry writers. So I do have to work with them for a little bit to get them to like give a more generous flow. And the nibs are very, very stiff. So there's no bounce, there's no nothing. It's pretty much like writing with a nail. Now it's writing with a smooth nail. I've never had any of my TWSBI pens be like misaligned or scratchy or anything like that. They're always smooth. It's just they're very stiff and on the drier side. So I do have to fiddle with that. And the other downside is that because it is such a large ink capacity, there is a little kind of rubber gasket at the bottom of your plunger that cuts off the ink in the barrel from getting into the nib housing unit, essentially to try and stop major leaks. So if you're going to be writing with this pen for a long time, I would say about more than a page or 2 pages, you actually have to unscrew the back a little bit. You don't have to pull it out or anything. You just unscrew it so that it becomes loose again. Because that way, you've actually moved the piston down a little bit so it opens up the flow channel again between the body of ink and the actual nib. So if I screw this closed, watch this guy right here. So if you looked, it moved up and down. I'll do it one more time to close it. So it's opening and closing the barrel of ink to the nib and feed unit. So if you're, like I said, if you're going to be writing for a really long time, then you will have to keep that unscrewed. To me, it's not that big of a deal, but I know to a lot of people that kind of is an annoyance. So just keep that in mind. As far as cost goes, this pen, US dollars, is $65. Canadian, you're looking anywhere like around the $85 mark. I'm on the fence about that price, to be honest. I think it's a good price when you think of, the fact that it is a vac filler. It's solidly built. I mean, this pen is definitely going to be around for a very long time. It's not going anywhere. So it's definitely worth the price point when you think of the build quality, the kind of fill you're getting, all that kind of good stuff. My only thing is that every time I think, well, $85, again, Canadian, for a pen that I know I'm going to have to spend some time on as far as like nib wise, that kind of irritates me a little bit. But for the most part, yeah, I would say it's worth it for sure. American's definitely worth it. And if you don't have one of these in your arsenal already, especially if you don't have a vacuum fill, I would certainly recommend picking it up and adding this one to your collection. If anything, just to get you some experience with a vacuum fill pen, especially one like this that you can take apart and clean significantly easier than pretty much any other vacuum or bladder fill pen. That sums up most of my thoughts about this pen. Let's jump into the writing sample and I will show you what this guy can do. So I am back on Clairefontaine paper, Noodler's blue ink with a broad steel nib on my TWSBI Vac 700. It's definitely smooth. Like I said earlier, there's never an issue with that. You will definitely feel it moving along the paper. You'll get a little bit of feedback, but you're not going to get like, anything even close to scratchy. You will get a little bit of a wider downstroke than you would with a side stroke. It's not anywhere near a stub at all, but there's just ever so slight. You can't really reverse write. Nothing's going to come out, and it is really scratchy when you do that. So no reverse writing on the broad nib. Get my hand out of the way here. As far as line variation goes, I'm pressing really hard, like really dangerously hard, and you're not going to get anything. Obviously you're going to get more of an ink flow, but that's it. Like these these basically are nails. They're very, very stiff, so you're not going to get any line variation out of it whatsoever. Like I said, there's an ever so slight difference here, but in actual writing, it's going to be very difficult to notice that. As far as wetness goes, it's a pretty dry writer. Like that actually looks pretty impressive, giving it 0 time to dry, but it's definitely a drier writer for sure. I would still recommend it. For the average person who's not too concerned about having like practically a fire hose of a pen, I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this pen. So that is going to be it for me on the TWSBI Vac 700 fountain pen today. As always, if you like the video, hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe. I make videos every Monday and Friday. And don't be afraid to leave any questions, comments, or concerns down in the comment section below. I do read them all, and I do try and answer them all as well. Cool. I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.